What's going on? All right, so I got some dirt here. I got about a half a bucket. I got to pan this out. Get rid of this music. Yeah, so I got about a half a bucket that I need to pan out. I already have some gold from when I ran it through my mini jig, my super awesome mini jig. And there's some nuggets in here. There's some amalgam gold in here. It's fantastic. Quite interesting when you get a piece of amalgam and you know it's just full of gold. What's up, DB? Yeah, I got dirty mercury on my nuggets that was natural mercury. We got an education from our good friend James about the naturally occurring cinnabar down there in North Carolina. I'm going to flip this camera and show you guys the gold I have, the mercury nugget, and then we'll see where we go from there. Start panning. Oh, I gotta plug this in, turn the light on. Rock Butcher. Hey, Rock Butcher, if you want to come up, I will drop the link so you can come up. All right, so I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but that little ball of mercury is actually just packed full of gold. A couple of these larger pickers here has mercury attached to it, so we're going to definitely be putting all that in the old mercury bottle. And then there's some fine gold that the mercury didn't pick up here and some black sands that I got to get rid of. Jason E. Miner. Yeah, I don't mind, Jim. I'll just drop the link here in chat. I know what you look like, so. Rock Butcher is 21 plus. He is allowed to legally consume alcohol. So we don't care. Appreciate the like and the share, Jason. I'm going to pin that link up at the top of chat. We're just going to start out. I got a lot of panning to do. We're going to do one scoop at a time. We're not in a hurry. I got some lasering to do. We're going to be working late, but I figured I deserved a day of some panning, some relaxation. I don't like where my camera is. I'm right-handed, not left-handed, so get the cleanup pan moved out of the way. I don't know if there's going to be any gold in this bucket or not, but I have a feeling we're going to find some small gold in here. This is the stuff that I ran through my mini jig and it blew out of the pan. Hey, I see gold already. And that was the first scoop. This is not the tailings. It's the stuff that went through the concentrator of the mini jig that overflowed the pan that I was using. Yeah, we got, I don't know how well you can see it. It's super tiny. Might just wait and do a snuffer dump at the end when I go into the purple pan. It says Rock Butcher is gonna echo. Let's see. Does Rock Butcher echo?
I shouldn't.
There's a fight between StreamYard and Google Chrome going on. So it's trying to. I have no echo.
No, I muted my YouTube.
No, it's actually just a voice doubling from the app through Chrome. When 406 came up the other night, he wasn't echoing, but we could hear ourselves crystal clear twice. It was kind of funny.
So is that happening now?
I don't hear me. Nope.
Okay.
So let chat let us know. We got 7 awesome people in here already. We just got started.
I put my Bomber Motor Hotel hat on, my leather hat. Had to be there to be here. That's from when I was working up at that ultra rich gold mine where I got that monster specimen from. And the day I left, I walked in there and I said to Tally, the bartender, I says, "Hey, Tally, I spent a lot of money here over the last 5 years. I think you owe me one of them hats." And so she gave it to me. But you guys keep complaining about the glare off my dome, so.
It does put a glare when you take that hat off.
I know, the light is directly above my head. I didn't build the motel. At any rate.
Yeah, so they say if you rub jalapeno juice on your head, it'll make your hair grow.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I don't know how well that works, but my wife showed me that.
Not for me, because the number of times ladies say, "Oh, good boy," and rub my head, it would all fall out anyway. So.
So I see you're up at the lithium mine again.
Yeah. Bad news, man. Bad news.
Uh-oh.
I got bad news and good news. The CFO of the company has, after we've prepared everything, we've even cut the drill pads. And they were saying, "We want to drill in December," and all us geologists are saying, "You're making a huge mistake drilling in December. We got to let the ground freeze." And they're like, no, we want to go. So we built new core logging. We fabricated inside of our main sort of building. We fabricated logging rooms where you could put the boxes of drill core up on shelves and the geologists can work. And we fabricated a new cut shack that's much cleaner and better operation than they had before. And complete with soundproofing on the walls and everything like this. And the CFO just said, okay, you're not drilling this winter. So it's like,
that's what you spent all that time putting all that sheetrock up and stuff.
We just spent $370,000 on a road and a bridge to make the trip shorter. You know, we spent another probably 20,000, maybe 30 on, you know, construction supplies, 2x4s, plywood, soundproofing, etc. You know, on and on and on. Another, I don't know how much we pay the cutters to cut the drill pads because they go in by hand with chainsaws and they actually do it because you don't want to be, it's a real mess when you do it with a bulldozer, you know, you just make a huge mess. So you want guys to do it nice and neat. You cut the forest down, you lay all the trees down nice and neat, get them out of the way. If there's pay trees in there or good firewood trees, we can pull them out to the road and then the locals come and get it for the winter time or for next winter. And yeah, we did all that work getting ready for this winter. And then they said, stop. But they'll spend $30 million on their office in Germany. That my partner in crime here went over to visit 2 months ago, and he said that 3/4 of the offices in it are empty. Nobody lives in them. And it's like that kind of mining company, I guess. All front end and nothing on the back end.
Well, they got to look pretty, right?
Yeah. Right up until they got to report reserves. I mean, that work we were going to do this winter would have doubled. Honest to God, it would have doubled their reserves. And they...
well, maybe they won a loss this year.
Who knows? They're going to get one, that's for sure. At any rate, so the good news is that gang out of Arizona that I was dealing with this spring, I just got an email last night from him, from Pete, the guy that got in touch with me in the first place. And he says, hey, Jim, he says, we've had a restructuring of the company down here. And he named a couple of people that have now left the company, And
air quotes. Did you have air quotes there?
I did have air quotes. Yeah.
I heard it in the voice.
And he says, you wouldn't happen to know any good mining professionals that would be, you know, looking to work down here. I thought, man, your timing is impeccable. So I'm gonna shoot him an email. I just got to double check the work regulations. I know for a fact that under NAFTA, which I know Americans hate NAFTA and Canadians hate NAFTA, but one of the cool things about NAFTA is that mining people can jump back and forth across the border without any sort of, you know, country, like a work permit or something, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And but there's a difference between doing it on contract and doing it as an employee, right? So I don't know how because I know I could do it on contract.
Well, they might have to make you a contracted employee.
Yeah, there's going to have to be some wiggle there anyway. But any rate, I would love to go down and put that thing into production. Boy, holy shit, that's a great project.
Now, that's the place where when I sent you the pictures of the rocks we got out of the woods, you were saying it was very similar to the rocks from Arizona. That's the similar. Yeah. That's the place.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. I was really surprised that you saw those. Those were from Virginia, weren't they, or North Carolina or something like that?
Virginia.
Yeah. Those. I was really surprised to see that from there because I didn't realize there were rocks that young there. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Jason E. Miner's got a split. Pick up some.
He ran to go get some supplies.
Mm-hmm.
It took almost 10 minutes for that message to come through.
Wow.
That's the delay.
That's nuts. Yeah, DB, if they had just taken 1/10 of that $30 million, they gave me $3 million. Just give me $3 million, and I could have doubled their resource here with the drill. It can still be done. I mean, the rock's been in the ground for a billion years. I mean, it'll still be there next year and the year after that. So, but if they were really serious about doing it, you'd want to stop doing all these camera shots. They're going around and talking to local towns here. They want to put up a refinery and they're going to create all these jobs. And it's like, did the thought not occur to you that maybe you want a little stuff to put through that refinery? Just
sounds like they're schmoozing. Sounds like they're doing some schmoozing.
Oh, that's it. It's all just schmoozing, and there's no real pooping. It's like poop or get off the pot kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like let's get down to brass tacks here and actually start applying a bit of money into the ground and generating some value for the company. Because all the schmoozing in the world, that and $2.50 gets you a coffee at Starbucks, and what's the point? Dirty prospectors do not count as mining professionals, but they do count as closely guarded contacts that we can reference from time to time should we need some information there, Stacy. But if you look at my case, I'm both a mining professional and a dirty prospector, so I guess it works.
So you get some weird stuff out of the creek.
Look at that. That looks like the back of a rivet off a pair of blue jeans or something.
Yep, some kind of rivet. And then I got not sure what kind of lead shot that is, but it's larger than double aught, ain't it?
No.
No?
That looks to me, if I had to guess, that's either number one or it's single aught.
But it's corroded, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's corroded.
It's not lead. It's not lead.
Oh, because now it's got to be bismuth or steel. That's not steel. It's probably bismuth.
That's magnetic.
Oh, then it's steel.
Yeah.
Because we're not allowed to use lead shot anymore, remember?
Yeah.
I got Little Hammer up here with me, just hanging out in the back room.
Up spending the weekend, or?
Yeah, he's up for the weekend and Monday and Tuesday as well. I told his teacher, I said, just give him some homework and I'm going to take him up here for 2 days. And he just needs a little time out from school, shall we put it that way. There he is.
What's up, Little Hammer?
Oh.
Hi. I'm going to go outside for a little bit.
You going to go outside for a bit?
Yep.
All right.
Watch out for moose.
You going to bring the shotgun?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'll just shoot up and the car's driving by.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
I saw a video of a guy in Canada. He was taking his garbage out. And this was one of them Ring doorbell type deals or garage camera or whatever. But he was taking his garbage out. And he had about 6-8 inches of snow. So he must be a little further north. But he's walking, carrying like 3 bags of garbage on each side. And like it looked like a football tackle was just coming full speed from the left. It was a moose.
Oh, really?
Chest bumped him, sent him just flying. bags of garbage hanging from the moose's antlers, and
I wonder what was chasing the moose.
nothing came across the camera, but the moose just sat in the driveway. Like I'd never seen a moose sit before, but the moose sat down in the driveway and like was trying to shake the bags and garbage off of its antlers and head and face. But like,
well, this time of year, the moose are going into the rut.
so it could be the dumb buck syndrome.
So the bulls, yeah, like if that moose felt that somehow that guy was competition for the cows, then yeah. But yeah, that's really odd. I haven't seen that one.
He went flying. It was on Reddit.
You figure
I don't know if it was this year, but it looked like it was
a moose crash in India. I mean, that's gonna break bones.
Well, yeah, he flew 2.5 car widths into the grass.
Oh my God!
Like when that moose hit him. Oh, and he lost his house slipper. That was the other thing. Like in the video, it showed his house slipper. One of his house slippers was just laying in the driveway. He's over in the grass. He gets on his knees and just starts crawling out of the picture. But
well, what are you doing? You're gonna go play some hockey? All right.
we had a lady up north.
Key in the door. You have a lady up north?
She had a they call her. She thought she had a pet buck, and she'd feed it apples all fall, like spring, summer, feeding it different stuff all fall, feeding it just a little nubbin buck, and then it was a little spike buck this year, and she got jabbed about 9-10 times in the shoulder and arm, and yeah.
Yeah, people are idiots when it comes to wild animals. Like, this is a wild animal. You know how long it took them to domesticate dogs, for Pete's sakes. It's not something that you can do in an afternoon or a couple of years, you know. It's, yeah.
DB says, "What's up, Ski Searcher?" DB says, "I have a friend in Anchorage who cannot use his backyard right now
because a moose has decided to live there for a while." Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that's craziness.
Yeah.
You got Team Lynch in the house?
I got a crazy moose story for you. I was at this sample site years ago, and it was an old logging road where they had torn out the bridge, and the beavers had since made a dam. And the logging company had gone back in and replanted everything, and the trees were all about 7 feet tall. And so it wasn't new, you know. And I had to go down and take a sample of the sediment in the creek below the beaver dam. And so I did that. And then I was standing there, and I had my GPS, and it's a nice clearing, you know, and I put my GPS on the ground to let it average, and to tighten up my location kind of thing. And I'm making my notes and everything. And I got this feeling that I wasn't alone. And I turned around and I looked behind me. And the first thought that went through my mind was, wow, there's a set of moose antlers in the trees. And my second thought was, they're horizontal and attached to a bull. Right? So this bull, long story short, it turns out that all it wanted to do was go across the beaver dam. It was heading that way. And it came out and it encountered me, and it was a little too early for the rut, you know, so it wasn't grumpy yet. But it started walking towards me, which got me upset. You know, I was afraid because it's big. This is a big moose. And I remember its brow tines. My 30-30 would not, guys take pictures with the rifle between the brow tines of the moose. My 30-30 wouldn't hang there. These brow tines were so far apart. And I wasn't armed. And so I ran out onto the beaver dam. And I'm standing like in the middle of the beaver dam. My GPS is still over there, and my clipboard and everything else. And this is the moose decide to come in, and he decides to, instead of crossing on the beaver dam, which was quite wide, it was a big beaver dam, he decides to cross through the bush just immediately below the beaver dam. And that bull got so close to me, DB, I could have reached out with my hand and touched his antlers, the tip of his left antler, you know. And so that completely freaked me out, because now I'm standing beside a beast that weighs, he's got to be 1,400 pounds on the hook. And so as soon as he got beside me, I zoom back off the the beaver dam. I run back off the beaver dam. Well, that spooks him, and he turns around and he runs back the same way I'm running. And now we're both back at the same place again. So I go back out on the beaver dam a third time, and he walks around. And finally, he ended up going way up, and he ended up swimming across the beaver pond. And this whole thing was this poor moose just wanted to go from A to B, and I was in his way, you know. And but the best part of the whole event was, and I took a photo of it, was there was my GPS. And back in the day, like a really good Trimble GPS like that was probably close to $2,000. And there was this big moose print right beside it. And I took a photo of that, and I showed it to the guys afterwards. And on one of those disposable cameras, like you had to bring it to Walmart to get the film developed. And I was like, can you imagine if I had to tell the client that the GPS they gave me got stepped on by a moose? Like, I'm sorry, it's broken. It got stepped on by a moose. Like, what are the chances they would really believe you? You know, I'd be on the hook for a $2,000 GPS. And but I took that picture and I showed him, and I says, "Here, just to say, this is something that could possibly happen." And oh my God. At any rate, he went his way. The helicopter came back and got me. And the pilot said, "I wouldn't have landed if he was around." Like, okay, great, buddy. Thank you.
He'd have been leaving Jim in a lurch.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I believe it, Team Lynch. I believe it. Thank God.
I guess they got a nice grizzly by Stacy too.
Ooh. Yeah, I guess you got grizzlies up there in Montana. I don't shoot bears. I
had a conversation. See, I'll eat a bear.
I won't. I can't get past the dump.
The grease.
I mean, grizzlies are different, I suppose, but no.
I eat catfish, and them are bottom feeding nasty.
Yeah, they eat dead stuff.
So what's the difference between a bear and a catfish? One's in the water, and one's not.
Black bear will eat dead stuff.
But pigs eat gross stuff too, and they taste great. So
bears are
what's
related.
that tell you?
Bears
I bet you
related.
turkey vultures. I bet you turkey vultures are delicious.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there.
But I mean, think about it.
I don't want to think about it.
It reminds me of a joke a guy told me about his trip to Canada.
People are delicious. Come on. No. At any rate, we got $2. We got $2 down while I was deer hunting. So.
But you did get two? I seen the one.
Yeah, we got a second one the morning I left. Yeah.
Not as impressive as that one. That one was nice.
No. The other one was, the second one was big bodied, not nearly as big as the first one, but good. I mean, it'll be hanging weight's got to be 175 pounds, but small rack, and that's normal for where we hunt. They got small racks. We don't hunt for the racks anyway. We just hunt for meat.
Well, see, that's the thing. I had a chat with somebody the other day, so we were discussing this. We were talking about you don't hunt bear, and no, see, I'll hunt something if it's food.
Yeah.
Now, if I'll kill something, if it's going to hurt me or my dog or my wife or whatever. But I got an incoming call from Arizona. Whoever's
If that's the guys looking for a mining professional, tell him he's busy on a Streamyard.
like they got do you know what civet cats are?
Yep.
Spotted
we had them
skunk,
over in
basically.
Africa, yeah.
Well, see, they have them in the States here, but I don't think are they the same as the ones in Africa or
I think they're
similar?
Yeah. Civet. Yeah.
Yep. But like their pelts are worth, I think, like 60 to 80 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Turkey vultures barf as a defense action. That's nasty.
The babies do?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always hate encountering baby birds because there's so many variables there.
Diseases, nasty.
As soon as I see them, I just leave them alone so that, mom will come back. Make sure you don't leave any scent on the nest or don't touch them or anything like that. And just let them be birds,
Like I grew up in a trapping family, trapping coons, mink, skunk, whatever. And a lot of people, it's inhumane. Well, clothes are clothes, leather's leather, and nothing's prettier than a beaver hat.
Yeah.
But there's trapping organizations. Back to the moral of my story, or the point was that North Carolina and Virginia have trapping, but in comparison to up north, the members of the club in Virginia, I think they said 45 people for the state. Now up in Wisconsin, there's 100 people in one club for a population of 2,000 for the town.
Mm-hmm. Team Lynch.
Awesome, Team Lynch. Thank you for the super chat. That is huge. Greatly appreciate that. Team Lynch, just so you know, you're getting 4 entries in the end of year live stream giveaway. It's on New Year's Eve. It's already posted and scheduled, but we'll be adding you down there for the entries. Thank you for that $20 super chat. I greatly appreciate that. Yeah. So how do you feel? What do you feel about the fur trade?
Oh, I mean, it's a cornerstone of Canadian culture,
And history.
And history. Yeah, absolutely. I support it 100%. And there are times, like even around here, like I have a map of where there's 4 trappers in the area that we're working, because the area we're working in is so big. And I have maps of these are their trapping areas, and then we've spoken to each of them individually, and I have the maps of their trap lines, so I know where their traps are. And if we happen to be working in the area, then I make sure, especially because they trap in the winter, not in the summer. I take the guys and I say, look, be especially careful around here, because look for marten boxes on the trees or whatever, and don't damage this stuff. Especially if we're going to be in there with heavy equipment, we go through and we make sure that if we got to cross his trap line, we do it in a place between where his traps are set up, kind of thing. So, no, that's really important.
And I tried explaining this, how I agree it's very important. And one reason I think it's important, and it's one of those things that I think they should teach in schools.
Good night, DB.
At least all right, DB, have fun feeding the cats. She's got an army of cats she's going to feed.
Yeah, I know. Poor old DB's not one to sit here listening to a conversation about trapping.
But
God bless her.
The purpose of trapping, and I think the reason it's still important, is fall of economies happen, fall of societies happen. And if it doesn't get passed down, it's one of those things that could disappear.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know
And
what? As long as nice ladies around the world want to wear fur hats or fur coats or fur mitts or whatever, there's going to be trappers, right? End of story.
oh
Like,
yeah, for sure.
You can farm them, and
It's not as
there's
nice.
like there's mink farms, and there's that kind of, but it's still not nearly enough to satisfy the industry. And it's like, how do you farm beavers? You know, have you ever heard of a beaver farm? No.
I have not.
So
But I know where there's about 300 of them suckers that I can't wait to see how many my family gets this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But well, then it's also people's jobs and a way of survival. Like The Last River Rat is one of my favorite books, and it talks about how growing up on the Mississippi River, this fella, that was the only way they had food.
Mm-hmm.
They would commercial catfish in the summer and sell bait and catfish. And then in the winter, they had to go trapping. And that's how they survived. And this is in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Sure.
I mean, if you have, that's your skill set and that's what that's what you're raised doing. You're one of those backwoods swamp people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. I guess for me, I like thinking about the rendezvous and the old stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
how cool it would have been to go to one of the fur traders and get ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that today because they still rip you off.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, the prices have been bobbing around pretty badly for a while now. And I know a lot of guys that still do it. Just to make quota, so that they
in order to keep their license.
And like in the old days, there was a maximum. Now there's a minimum.
Yep.
And if you don't trap the minimum, you lose your license. And the government in Canada is actively trying to take away the licenses of inactive trappers and then hand them out preferentially to certain groups who claim that trapping is a way of life, rather than to people who are demonstrating that they actually want to be trappers.
Oh,
Renee Vester's in the house.
what's up, Renee? LAP coins is close to 700. That is awesome, buddy. Just keep hammering it out, man. Just keep hammering it out. Like one of these days, Rock Butcher could put up a short and hit 10,000 subscribers.
It's nuts how those things work.
Internal Compass, North Carolina. That's how he hit 100,000.
Yeah.
And it's just, you'll get lucky, you'll get there. Just make sure you optimize and keep at it.
So what's this dirt you're washing now?
All right, so this comes from Marion, North Carolina. It's the stuff that went through the mini jig that blew out of the pan down in the collection bottom in the tote.
Okay.
In the tote. So I have to pan it because there was more dirt than there was pan.
Gotcha. Yeah, those jigs are the cat's meow. In the right time and circumstance, when you set them up.
Oh yeah, I have
really
issues. I have issues with it. I need a swimming pool, like a kid's swimming pool, one of them little yard pools, the little short baby pools. And I think that if I was able to run one in that, have a sluice coming off and sluicing into another pool to get the dirt from the collection into another area, it would work a lot better.
Probably.
So I think that this mini jig is going home to North Carolina to my friend James, and then when we go out on the claims with him, we'll get to use it. I don't foresee me ever. It's not something you can just pull up to the river and use, like he says. It's really not. It has to be level. I've never seen a level place on the creek in my life.
Yeah, you'd have to actually get in there and work it out and get a rake and, whatever, get it totally level. Yeah, they're not.
I'd rather just get my 406 loose, bang some cons out, and take them home and run them through the blue bowl, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But now with this, if you can get it level in a spot like up at Vane Mountain, there's plenty of areas where we can get it level and we can shovel right into it or run our cons from the high banker into it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah, like I said, they're situational. And there's places where you can and where you can't use them. I've always used them in a fairly static form. We did have one setup that was on a short rig that we would pull behind a truck. It was on almost like a short tractor trailer rig, and like a 20-foot bed. And we would it was designed actually with a fifth wheel in mind, but we didn't have any fifth wheel gear there. But we would chain it onto the back of another machine and pull it around. And even with that, you had 4 hydraulic legs that had to go down, and you had bubbles all the way around it, and it took 2 guys to get this thing leveled, and you'd be running back and forth between the 2 on your side, up a little, down a little. And then because of the jigging motion, that transfers that vibration into those hydraulic legs, which then transfers it into the ground. And over time, the legs will settle a bit. So you got to kind of stop, and and the whole time it's running, you got to be watching those bubbles and like a little more on this leg and get it up closer to level with that one too. And then, yeah. So if you're willing to do something like that, which your average weekend guy isn't going to be doing, they work great. But it was good for prospecting on an industrial scale. Like I'd have a small excavator digging.
And that was the thing. So I figure if we're going to be up there, we're going to have 2 high bankers going for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 12 hours a day each day. So I have 2 high bankers running nonstop.
Yeah.
We're going to have somebody with a hoe bringing us material from the spot, because we have to stay so far, like regulations. We have to stay so far away from the creek. We're running 200 feet of hose, I think he said, and then pumping into a settling pond.
Yeah.
But we're going to be shoveling, hopefully, I think he said 4 loads a piece a day. That's the goal.
How much?
4 loads
of
dirt. So it'd be a yard. He wants to do 4 yards a day. He does on average 2. Yeah, he does, I think, 2 or 3 a day.
Okay.
Is his high. But with it not being hot, we'll be able to do more. And the main part about North Carolina is in the summertime, it's hotter than crap.
Yeah. You sure it's only a 1 yard bucket? Rule of thumb is 1 man with 1 shovel can move 1 yard a day. So that's rule of thumb. So if it's an excavator,
it might be less than a yard.
Unless you're
But it's
you
a
know,
pretty big bucket.
unless your high bankers are really small, then okay, I get it, because your throughput's limited by your high banker. But
It's the Keen for me, and then he's got a different version of the same thing, basically.
I don't know. Interesting to watch anyway.
Yeah, we're going to be filming it. He's starting a YouTube channel. It's going to be the North Carolina Recluse Miner.
Mm-hmm.
But I told him, I said, any guy that shovels 56 loads of dirt better have a damn YouTube channel. Because I know a lot of YouTube channels, myself included, that don't even do a fifth of that. And like he does that, then he pans probably 40, 50 pound bags of dirt a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also got more gold than anybody I've ever met, including Gold Eagle.
That's because he's moving the dirt.
Got to move the dirt to get the gold.
You do. It's all about throughput.
I'm going to make Jim big and let him tell us the story. I'm going to go outside and I can still talk, though. I gotta stand up. My knees are giving up. Sitting down. Isn't that weird? Yeah. So, Jim, what is your opinion on what do you prefer for prospecting? Do you prefer to just pan and check, or do you want to be able to run sluices or high bankers for your river time? What do you like to do?
If I were just, I look at it more of a procedural, like let's do this first, do this second, do this third. There's actually something that you guys don't, none of you guys being the prospecting community here that I've seen do. And it's a trick I learned from the Russians back when I worked with them in 91. And you've done something similar with that machine that you did to dig in with your magnets and see how many heavies were there.
Yep.
What they had was a set of nested screens, but just like you're classifying screens, right? Except these things were all about the size, the diameter of a coffee mug. And they were made out of steel, and they'd all nest together. And then all you do is go down to a good part of the river, and you put some material in the top, and then you get it soaking wet, and you shake it through, and then you can actually jig it especially when you get to the fine section. You hold that fine cup, like if I could, I don't know, let me find a little cup or something like that. So if you can imagine this cup, let me cut this cup up. I'm going to cut up my paper cup. And I can't believe you can't find these things in North America, because I would love to have one. But, okay, so
is
here's
that I can 3D print?
Here's my screen. No, you'd want to make it out of steel so it was solid enough. But imagine the bottom of this has a screen on it, right? So what you do is you submerge it in the water, and then you make a motion like this. And you pull it back, and you do that again. And when you push it down and then lift it up, you're doing exactly what your jig does, right? You're forcing water in the bottom, which forces material out the top. And then by moving
the heavies will drop.
By moving it off to one side, you allow the lights to fall out of it. And you keep doing this. You do that over and over and over. And then until all you've got left in the bottom of your screen are your heavies. And then you dump that out and you look. And are there lots of heavies? Or are there very few?
Oh, so it's a super fine screen, super fine.
It can. Well, I mean, they come in a whole different mesh sizes. There's like 4, 5, 6 of them all stacked up. But the ideal one to start with is the finest one, right?
Yeah.
And because that's going to give you your best judgment on what the heavy concentration is. And if you're super duper lucky, you'll find a piece of gold in it. But what's the chances, right? But that just as a start, if you're prospecting your way up a creek and you just want to, okay, let's just stop here. And it really, literally, it takes like 5 minutes. Load this thing up, soak it, get it soaking full of water, shake the whole stack up, get it all separated down, and then just do your finest fraction and see what you've got. And so, I mean, that would really, for me, be the first step, because the first step that a lot of other guys do is shovel and pan. And I've done it myself, all right? But how long does it take you to pan out a pan? Longer than 5 minutes, right? How long does it take you to put a cup full of material or 2 cups full of material into, find a good spot, don't get me wrong, you know, like get behind a rock and dig down a little bit. But, and then do that trick. And so that would be the first step. You know, then you can follow up with panning, or like with a small, you know, sluice setup or high banker, you know, if you wanted to actually get into production right away. But if you're looking at it from a, you know, an industrial scale, then I would probably go ahead and start drilling. And that's when you start talking about big money. But that's how I would do it. But on the weekend, I'm a shovel and pan guy, only because I don't have a bunch of those Russian sieves. So anybody in chat, if you're a welder, 406 is here somewhere.
That's what I was going to say. We should talk to Stacy, because I bet Stacy could make
them out of aluminum, as long as they're sturdy enough to withstand, and then just make a set that nests. And like I say, they've got to be that big. I mean, there's my hand, right? So it's a powerful tool for if you're looking for concentrates.
Heavies.
Yeah, where are the heavies, right? And then once you found the heavies, now you can chase the gold using whatever method you find. So how was that?
But they sell the nesting.
They do.
They're plastic,
but they're
they're small. They're only 4 inches wide.
If you go to Tyler Mesh, those those plastic ones, but they won't last a season if you're out there pounding them away, right? And throwing them in and out of backpacks and stuff like that. So like Tyler makes them out of brass, but they're 12 inches wide, right? What you need is something metallic that's that size, even smaller than the ones that they make out of plastic.
So a 3-inch diameter.
I mean, you could probably get away with 3 inches. I'd say more like 4.
Stacy, if you can.
Where's my Let me go.
Choking.
Imagine 4 inches. Just like,
you run into the bathroom so you can find 4 inches. Hey, Stacy, come on up if you can, so you can discuss this, because I think we might be manufacturing something.
actually, I was going to whip it out and fold it in 3, but I'm not that excited right now.
Oh, so I got me a nice piece
3,
of amethyst.
3 inches wide would be perfect. 4 inches would be good too, but 3 inches, 3.5, 4.
So about a beer can, a little bit bigger than a beer can, and
a little bit bigger than a beer can. My beer can's 2.5 inches wide. So, if you could make a nesting set of cylinders out of metal so they don't fall apart, and then adjust the screen size from the bottom to the top. And you don't have to have, the neat thing about the Russian stuff was that there was no, for those of you who don't know what this is, that's an HI stick. I use it for blasting. But height of instrument stick.
And speaking of the North Carolina Recluse, NC Recluse Prospector.
James Simpson. Welcome. So, so that'd be cool, Stacy. I don't know if you guys could manufacture that, but it would have to be, the ring would have to be pretty solid stuff, because it's got to put up with being thrown into backpacks and they might not all be nested together. You know, it might fall apart, and you got a guy with rock samples and everything else in there. So you need something solid enough that it's not going to get crushed. Just with general everyday use, dropping a backpack on the ground and you dent your screens. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. And then just set up a set of mesh sizes.
Now, how tall do you think?
I mean, they had like, I think four mesh sizes on theirs. And then but they didn't have, or maybe they did have a bottom cap that was just like a solid, like you would on your normal classification thing. But I don't remember them ever looking at that. They always looked at the finest first, and then if we got a lot in the fines, they would look at the coarser stuff. And sometimes we get some really nice garnets and stuff like that out of there.
I should have brought my actual hockey stick. The ice out this perfect for stick hand.
Oh yeah.
How fine you thinking? Like 50 mesh, 60 mesh?
Yeah, I mean the finest one, I guess, 60 mesh. What's that? 2 millimeter, something like that.
All right, Team Lynch, thanks for stopping in, and thank you again for that super chat. That was awesome.
You're not trying to recover gold in this system. You're trying to see where the heavies are, and you follow me?
Yeah.
So your mesh classification doesn't have to be nearly as tight as it would be if you were looking for flower gold and fly poops. And
well,
stuff.
see, my thing was flower sand. Like when you're up, we got some super seriously tiny black sand, and then we got some black sand that's plus 20 mesh. So I've had black sand go through my 100 mesh classifier.
Yeah, but if you're getting black sand going through your 100 mesh classifier, you're going to get black sand in your 60 mesh.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so that's my point. Like, don't nitpick below a certain amount. All you're trying to do. This is
identification area.
It's it's not. What's the word? The opposite of empirical. Empirical means you're putting an absolute number on it. It's it's like your qualificational or whatever. I can't remember the other word, but all you're doing is you're trying to say yes, it's good, or it's kind of okay, or shit, no, it's shit, and that's your three classifications, and then based on that, you can go and do your other prospecting.
And Renee Vester, I have been working on the design you wanted. I need the years, the dates, so I can add that in on my design. And anytime after noon, you can feel free to call the business number. And if nobody answers, leave a message or text, and then we can get back to you. She's doing something super awesome for her man for Christmas. But we got to get her done right away so it can get mailed out, because we know how the post office is in the holidays.
Mm-hmm. Have you found any gold in that yet?
Yep.
I missed the part where you put more back in.
I'm snuffering it up to do a snuffer dump. It's all really super fine stuff. So until I get a nice pile, nobody's going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
All the big stuff is over here. I still can't believe that mercury ball is just so. Obviously, you've played with mercury in your life. When it's full of gold, it's like rolling sandy grit. It's really cool. Yeah, I know I'm not supposed to touch it with my hands. I don't care. I've touched worse things. I'm pretty sure we all licked batteries when we were kids to make them shock our tongues. Did you ever do that, Jim? Lick a 9-volt battery and make it shock you?
Yeah. See if it's charged or not. Is this a dead one or not? Yeah.
All right. So
when I see I've got a new subscriber on my channel, Ski Searcher. There he is. He's in chat right here. That's where it comes from. Thank you very much, Ski Searcher.
there's a couple more of those.
Yeah, I would just save them up until you got enough and then put them in a retort. Oh, those are the shotgun balls. Yeah, don't do that. Your retort won't help with those.
But I am working on lasering off a rust from a tattoo machine.
Did you see that tat that Joe got?
I did. He got it from the coin I sent him, and it looks super awesome.
I don't have a tat on my body, and I totally want to get that.
That's the one that's going to make you get a tattoo.
I wasn't allowed in the Army. I wasn't allowed to get tats because I was an officer, and otherwise I would have had my unit, my wings, and like all the rest of the guys did, and or a lot of the guys did anyway. But yeah, no, I had no inclination back when I was a corporal, and then when they Mustanged me, I was told in no uncertain terms, "Thou shalt not do this." And I just haven't done it ever since. So,
well, it sounds like you need to make a trip to Beacon, New York, to Honorable Ink Tattoo and get you some.
Yeah, I'm thinking, why not? Go down and
Joe would crap his pants if you showed up.
Have some coffee with Joe.
Some coffee.
Coffee.
I was watching a Canadian magnet fishing stream earlier, and they were making fun of New Yorkers the way they say coffee.
Yeah.
At least it sounds just as funny to you as it does us.
Yeah.
Scuba Steve in the house. How's it going?
Stacy, retort. What is that? It's a still. I'm sure you know what a still is, Stacy. Gee whiz. And it'll blow up just as fast. Just don't make whiskey in it after you've distilled your mercury. Don't make whiskey in it the next day. That would be very bad.
I still can't believe one of our. I'm not gonna bust him out, but those of us that seen that video, you saw it, didn't you? Where one of our fellow YouTube buddies decided he was gonna make his little homemade retort and was refining some mercury, and his retort blew up.
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, YouTube pulled the video.
I hope so. How to make a bomb.
Basically, he forgot to put the antifreeze in.
Okay.
For the cooling.
Okay.
And just had the heat go into it, sealed completely. He didn't loosen the top cap on the vent, the pressure relief vent.
Yeah.
He had that sealed tight down with the bolts and the eye. So it was just the mercury was in the cup. He was heating it with the torch, and it went up, and it was just dropping back down because it didn't get to go up and then go over and cool and drop in the other side. Well, it was just, you could see, like, and what saved him is that his wife was yelling at him, and he had to go inside and deal with his kids. But he left the video going. Not even 30 seconds after he went in the house, you could see it was going like this. The metal was flexing, and then it went off like a 10-pound stick of dynamite.
Jesus.
Part of the picnic table disappeared.
It would have killed him.
Oh, for sure.
It would have killed him. Yeah, no, don't do this at home, kids.
Yeah, do not try to build your own retort. Do not try to use a retort unless you know what you're doing. And don't think you know what you're doing because you watched a YouTube video.
Yeah, you probably could use a retort in the kitchen oven there, Stacy, but you'd have to let the copper wire come out and go through the cooling like in the middle of the kitchen and then drip out on the far end. Just put your wife's favorite cake pan or something down there to catch the liquid mercury.
That'd be perfect.
A coffee cup.
He's home too, so she's listening.
Yeah. Just make sure you turn the fan on in the kitchen, okay? Yeah. Those fumes. Just saying. There's a reason there's a word. The term mad as a hatter. Yeah.
Feel like I know someone that put his chemical mask on and then took a ball of mercury out and put it in a potato and burnt the mercury away.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he was somewhat safe with the old 3M hazmat mask, but still not the smartest thing for Jericho to do. But the sponge nugget looked really cool.
Did you get the gold out? Yeah.
The sponge nugget looked really cool.
Cool. Did you eat the potato?
No.
Good.
The potato got burnt to a complete nothing after, so nothing else could eat it either.
When I read the instructions on how to do that in that old prospecting manual, right at the very end of the page, it said in big capital letters, "Do not eat the potato." Oh, I'm getting a call from the War Department. I'm gonna have to mute myself.
But yeah, sponge nuggets are cool. Retorts are cool as long as you know what you're doing, but you don't want to do it if you don't know what you're doing. And you definitely don't want to breathe that stuff in. So, James, were you down at the mine today, or did you do anything exciting? Hopefully you didn't play in the nasties. James has been having to do a lot of plumbing work on his days off and hasn't been able to really enjoy much. And James, are those loads of dirt at the mine a yard or less than a yard? I thought they were a yard. So if you can, you want to clarify that? But I thought they were a yard plus. Have to let us know. Getting down to the... Oh, I still got about a quarter bucket left. Oh, you been at the vet all day? Did you take the cat in and get the cat snipped? They are a yard plus. Okay. So you're doing at least 2+ to 3+ yards in a day when you go out there. You're nuts, James. You're nuts. But I say for 2024, James, you should shoot for 100 yards, 100 loads. I think you could do it. You're still muted there, Jim, unless you're on the phone with the War Department still. But now, who here agrees that watching a YouTube channel of a fella that does 50+ loads of dirt plus pans dozens of huge bags, runs all kinds of equipment. That would be a YouTube channel worth watching. I told him he's going to hit 1 million subscribers before I hit 10,000. We got somebody backstage. Hey, he's got his own keys. Let's see if he can figure out how to let himself in.
What's up, Jericho?
He's in. He did it.
Like I said, I'll let myself in when I get in. Hey, James. Hey, everybody.
Getting some gold today.
Did you?
Oh, yeah, there's quite a bit in here. It's all
Awesome.
small stuff, but
I've got a couple bags of pan at my mom's with the kids. Other than going hitting the creek.
nice.
And then I've got a sourdough bag that I know has something in it.
Well, the sourdough bag could have a monster nugget if you got the lucky bag.
Hopefully. What you got so far?
Yeah, so snuffer bottle with some stuff in it. I got to do a snuffer dump.
Nice.
I was looking and all this gold is got mercury in it. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do about that. My wife's over there working hard making, I believe, some sweatpants. Did you see this, Scuba Steve?
What's that?
I got my biggest ever super chat today.
Oh, awesome. I reckon I need to start doing more lives.
Huh?
I said, I reckon I need to start doing more lives.
Well, yeah. Shoot, that got me halfway to my YouTube withdrawal for my second ever YouTube payment. Or pretty close to it, at least. I don't know how much YouTube takes out of it.
I'm not sure.
I know they take a cut of everything.
Oh, yeah.
So when are you driving by?
I'm going down. I'm leaving here next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Yep. Weekend after Thanksgiving.
I got an appointment with the Drift Life Drifting Club that Saturday sometime, and that's going to be kind of interesting. I'm going to take them some different material and items that we make, and going to get our stuff put on drift cars. The poor Scorpion is stuck at work till midnight tonight.
I crashed out early last
week. I finished at about 6:30, 6:45 this morning.
think I fell asleep at like 8:30 last night.
A3 Sky Warrior in the house. What's up, buddy? Hey, Rich, I'm going to be refabbing your design because even though my artwork looked awesome, hey, there's some nasty shells. Even though my artwork looked awesome, it did not work for what I wanted it to do. So what I'm going to have to do is change my layout a little bit, and I'll send it to you for a proof, unless you just want me to run with it and go with my gut. And then, Rich, if you could, can you email me your dates of service?
Good baby. Marking art. Roll that. Up the light. Irish feet. She loves that tamale. We'll have tamale though. So you got an iron good too.
What do you need to do something?
Oh baby. Sure, you got food.
Rock Butcher's taking a little sippy sip. We saw that. He's thirsty. Thirsty old man.
Yeah, we're
Whoops. God damn. You think I felt that one down what?
By the way, we are live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. All kinds of excitement.
A3.
So if you-
Hey, yeah, sorry, I had to take that call from the missus there. You know
That's
how
all right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, I saw you talking, and I didn't see the phone in your hand, and I was like, hey, you know you're still muted unless you're on the phone.
Yeah.
And then I saw-
no, had
I saw-
the phone
then I-
sitting down on
then-
the table here.
Then I saw the look, and I was like, oh, yeah, he's still on the phone.
Yeah, it's not like we didn't spend the night together last night. I finally got a chance to get home for one evening, and after 2 weeks or more, and home for one evening and back up here on the job again. But I guess there's lots has happened since then. So
Sometimes all kinds of stuff can happen in a short amount of time.
mm-hmm.
be right back.
Especially with you. You got 2 teenage girls at home.
And a teenage boy.
Well, he's not home today, though. He's lucky.
Oh, he's with me, so that's good.
He's safe.
He's gonna go out. He's gonna shoot a shotgun for the first time. Maybe I'll make a short. That'd be funny. YouTube will demonetize me. Not that I monetized in the first place, but you guys can all laugh about it.
I definitely want to see that.
He's
I
big
remember-
enough. He's big enough. He can shoot it. It's gonna slap him real hard.
I remember shooting, 12 gauge was easy. I remember shooting the 10 gauge the first time.
I've never fired a 10 gauge. That 12 gauge still wakes me up every time I pull the barrel, and I'm not a small man.
And then my dad's got one of them duck. It's the 10 gauge is a duck gun for the boat, and then he's got one of them mounted. I think they said it's like a 3. It's like that big.
A punt gun
Yeah,
mounted on a boat,
yeah.
also known as a cannon. I don't think those things are legal anymore. Maybe they are.
No, they're not. But when you're eradicating field pests, it's okay. Got to save the corn. Did you know them invasive Canadian geese?
Yeah.
Them invasive Canadian geese, when they come in by the literally 300-400 of them and they hit your cornfield, they can
Dude.
destroy your cornfield in no
Well,
time.
Kill as many of those things as you possibly can. There's squillions of them. The thing that kills me too is that everybody complains about places like the big cities downtown, Toronto, oh, the geese are all down along the water line. You can't take your kids down. The geese are chasing your kids away because they're nesting. The geese are pooping all over the ground. Everybody's getting poop on their Crocs or their flip flops. And it's like, all the hunters out there are saying, well, you also have a homeless and a food crisis. Why don't you just get a couple of responsible hunters down there to blast 100 of them and clean them, prepare them, and hand them to the soup kitchens? Oh, no, you can't kill. Oh, no. No, you can't kill them. No, we have to give them all drugs so that they can't reproduce. You want to catch a goose and shoot it full of whatever? I don't know.
Giving a goose birth control.
Yeah,
that somebody's going to eat later.
Yeah. That's like, no. Well, let's catch them and relocate them.
All right, so A3 Sky Warrior has 7.8 bore cannon.
There you go.
Yeah, my dad hasn't used the one I was referencing since like 1980, 83, 84.
Yeah, Rich, we got 2 deer this season. A massive. Not now. When I say 10-point buck, all you Americans are going to go, oh, that's not that big. Okay. Where I hunt, that's an enormous deer because the racks are always a lot smaller in comparison to the body size. That deer is easily over 250 pounds hanging on.
Is that the one you sent me?
Yeah.
It's massive.
Then a day later, my cousin shot a little fork point, but its body, it's easy 170 pounds hanging. So it was a good season, and they've still got a week left. So
I was kind of perturbed. I was looking at the hunting license. I told them I didn't want to shoot a buck. I just wanted 3 doe tags.
mm-hmm.
They're like, well, you can get a hunter's choice and then get 2 doe tags.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why take a hunter's choice from somebody that wants a choice? My choice is I want 3 does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about the antlers. They don't taste very good.
That. Just do that and then shoot 2 does.
Antlers don't taste very good. They didn't like my comedy when I said that.
Steve says he's going back. I'll be back later going for dinner with the family.
Oh, you must have dropped a message in private chat.
Yeah. Yeah, A3, they were talking about that up in Toronto too. We'll oil the eggs. So it's okay to kill unborn geese, but not okay to kill born geese. How do you justify this? And it's all these woke left-wing, people out there
Nuts.
that are like, oh my God, this is just wrong. You can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you know what? When you've got 20,000 people that can't feed their kids in your biggest city in Canada, maybe you should hand them out some friggin' roast goose.
Well,
I'd be happy to go do it for free. Like,
isn't that one of
the city wants to buy me a box of shells? That's great.
The drugs are all legal and they give people needles and dope on the side of the road cities.
It's
Is that Toronto? Is Toronto one of those?
Toronto's one of them, and Vancouver.
Montreal.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about Montreal, but Vancouver's a big one. Yeah, it's like, come on, get free drugs.
Seeing people, they're waiting for their government checks so they can go buy heroin and fentanyl, and then they're sitting there half dead right outside of the government office.
Mm-hmm.
And there's lines of drug dealers on the black scooters right outside there waiting to just take all their money.
And what they do, the drugs that the government provides don't hit them as hard as what they're looking for. So they take the free drugs, they go out and they sell those drugs to the dealer and they trade them for what they're looking for. And then the dealer then takes those other drugs and sells them to somebody else who then develops the taste for it and is looking for something that hits them harder. So the government's actually perpetuating the problem.
Yep.
And it's
with no rehab. That was the thing. So I mean, I believe in the decriminalization. I don't think drug addicts that are just addicts need to be getting put in prison because they're an addict.
It's an illness.
Yes, I think they should be put in rehab, forced rehab, like in Amsterdam and other countries.
Forcefully rehab.
Yes, I 100% agree with forced rehab. And
yeah,
if Canada actually did the forced rehab thing, that might actually work. Here, here's a little, light's terrible, but here's a little piece of amethyst. Light purple.
Cool. Oh,
It's a rock. I threw it down on purpose because it's not gold, Jim.
okay. Yeah, right. I believe that. Yeah.
Did you not see the one I got? We had a cluster with 5 terminated amethyst crystals. I know where to go get amethyst.
Yeah, I saw that. That was good. Hey, speaking of amethyst, 406 Miner, how did you guys make out on your amethyst trip? I didn't see any video of sweet clusters there.
Oh, he did it on the live stream.
Oh, I missed that.
There was a huge, like 2 dinner plate size clusters that he brought up.
Wicked.
They were beautiful. It's still not as good as the one you showed me. You want me to grab the ones out of the car when I go out? Yeah, Jim, the ones you can get on the side of the road up there, I would still love to. I wish I could go to Canada. I would spend a day filling the back of a trunk of my go-kart just so I could get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something you see down here.
Every time I drive back and forth between home and here, I go right through that area. And in reality, like when I went and collected those things, I went as part of a field trip that was run by a government geologist. And the objective of that field trip was not to collect nice crystals. It was to understand the geology of the area. And we just happened to stumble upon, places where there were good crystal collecting things. But as I drive back and forth now, and I look and I know what to look for, I see lots of places. Like we could spend probably 2 or 3 days driving down and then pull off the highway in a safe spot and then go spend 2 hours banging rocks and then drive down to the next, outcrop. And then we might have to drive another mile or 2 miles past some big intrusion or something and then get back into it again. And you could spend a couple of days just heading out and then coming back in. There's a lot of good stuff to be found right by the highway. There's some gold.
I mean, it's not a lot, but that's what was in the bottom of the tote that blew out of the pan
Right
for
on.
the overfill.
Yeah.
Pretty decent.
Yeah, no kidding.
Especially when you at Hobo Rob, what's going on? He found a crap ton of quartz crystals, and hillbilly teeth is what we call them. The ones that look like teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were really nice looking. I've been busting his stones trying to get him to send me some. He made a mat for our. He and I are doing a giveaway. I'm lasering a sluice, and he made a mat. And then I've been busting his stones trying to get him to send me some of that Cape D dirt. I miss torturing myself panning that evil stuff. But ever since I got this silicone pan from Bobby in the basement and I learned how to use this sucker, I might not be as fast as Gold Eagle, but silicone for the win.
Oh yeah, it'll
Like-
stick it. It'll stick it well. Yeah.
Like the gold's just stuck right up there in all this black sand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's good.
So it only took an hour and a half to do a half a 5-gallon bucket panning one scoop at a time. It wasn't too bad. I figured you was going to bust my stones about taking forever.
I'm just used to it now.
Well, I told the wife when we were coming, I was like, I want to pan that dirt. She says, so pan it. And then I was thinking, Jim was busting my balls on a video the other day about, been a while since I've done any prospects and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were talking about, last night, we left here and I didn't get off until 6:30 in the morning. I was up editing videos, putting up sales posts, adding stuff to the sales stuff and the analytics and hashtags and all that wonderful.
Yeah. I've tried all them hashtag things. Remember we had a conversation about that? And I don't see it really making any difference on my shorts. It seems to be all YouTube's discretion what gets shown when and
Yeah, but this is for like for the store optimization, for search terms for the store, like when people are Googling custom t-shirt or custom hat or whatever.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. But in my case, I always put hashtag treasure fam or hashtag exploration, hashtag, off-road, ATV, whatever, and it doesn't seem to make a big difference.
I've noticed through the short optimization stuff, hashtags have little to no point. The primary thing is having even the words in the title. As long as you have the keywords in the title, the hashtags don't really mean nothing.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Yeah.
Excuse me. Hobo Rob says I get so much. Shoot, I need a drink. Hobo Rob says I get so much of that hillbilly quartz I throw it away. I have pounds of little agates that would qualify as hillbilly teeth. That is awesome.
Problem is, it costs you more to mail them than the value of the material, so unless someone's willing to pay the cost of mailing, you're kind of hooped.
Or unless you're mailing something already, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and James said that those are 1+ yard loads.
Okay.
So he's doing 2 to 3 of those a day himself. Like, I've seen him shoveling. He's nuts. My wife can do 2 in a full day.
Mm-hmm.
I helped with 1 and she did the other 2. I just picked rocks. But my wife's a farm girl. She's used to shoveling poo. Shoveling. Tell you what, she out shoveled Charlie, Badger, Joe, me. You out shoveled everybody. Yeah.
About 5
She-
tons per day he's running.
She,
5,000 tons per day, metric tons,
yeah,
long tons.
man, my wife out shoveled all of the guys.
Wow. Don't get in a fist fight with her.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. You'll be looking for some of them dentures.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got about, I'd say, a tenth of a gram of gold out of there. That's not too shabby. And then don't forget, we got this mess.
The material that initially dropped into the pan and then overflowed, did you pan that out yet?
That's what I just panned, was the overflow.
You panned the overflow, but what about the stuff that was sitting in the pan?
That's where I got this.
Okay,
And then all the gold that's stuck up here and in this ball of mercury.
gotcha.
Like when you feel this ball of mercury, it's like sand.
Yeah.
Like I can break it up and it just sand. It's crazy. I actually may take my torch out and take that outside and not on YouTube.
Not in real life. Oh.
No, you put. I've got a hazmat mask and a respirator, and they say that awesome, the cleaning stuff, awesome.
No.
That's called awesome. It's a green cleaning stuff. It'll take the mercury off of your nuggets.
But the mercury contains the gold. So what is awesome? I mean, what's the I'd have to look it up and see what the chemical composition is, because you can't just do chemistry like that without expecting some result. And
it could be nasty gases.
Gold. You might be losing gold. You might be in the big picture, you want to recover the mercury. It's valuable itself.
Yeah, I got it. Oh, those are awesome. Want to see the pants my wife just made? Bam, here we go. I got to get this stupid bright light out of there. Here we go. Says, have the day you deserve. And then some peace thingies. Peace skull hands.
Cool.
Those are pretty neat. She's in the old designing. What are you going to put on the other side? What's that? Yeah, she's been designing all kinds of cool stuff. Keywords to use in titles. Hobo Rob, if you want, we can chat about.
Uh-oh. We lost him. Yeah, Hobo Rob, that's a whole other subject, man. It's like we ended up talking about it for about 30 minutes. And whether or not the guy was right or not, I don't know. I've tried doing what he suggested, and I don't see any. Jericho, you're muted.
That's why. I hit that with my fat hand. Hi, Jim. Thanks. So it does help to an extent for long-term video, long format video, not so much shorts.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to, Hobo Rob, you can click that link up top because we're getting ready to go backstage. If you want to come backstage with us, we'll explain it a little bit better to you. So nice when you walk outside and get fresh air. It smells like a skunk. But yeah, the link's pinned at the top of chat, Hobo Rob, if you want to jump backstage and talk about that. Thanks for watching. We're probably going to go live tonight. I'm not sure if Joe's got one scheduled or not. If he doesn't, I'll probably schedule one. I got to do some deep engraving on the laser. I also want to do some comedy engraving on the laser. But I got to take me a safety meeting, and then I got 12 hours of work. So I'll be here till 6 a.m. doing some lasering. Those 18-hour days are for young men, and I sure ain't one of them anymore. I'll tell you that.
I hear you.
Thanks for coming up and hanging out, Jim. You going to stick around and go backstage?
Yeah, I'll stick around for a few minutes. We got supper coming over here in a couple minutes, and I'll show you what we got for supper.
All right. Yeah, so Hober Rob, you're more than welcome to jump back up stage with us. Link is pinned. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you ring that bell for all notifications so you see the next insanity. I'm out of breath.
Hit the thumbs up.
And smash that thumbs up. Later.